In the late 1990s, WWE's Attitude Era pushed the boundaries of violence, sexuality, and language on TV. Edgy storylines and characters like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock defined a generation of wrestling, but they also drew criticism for risque content. By the mid-2000s, WWE began dialing back on the most extreme elements, and this was really weird for fans. The company had weathered controversies, including public scrutiny after the Chris Benoit tragedy, and was looking to soften its image. Signs of this shift appeared a little bit before 2008, when overly sexual gimmicks were toned down and bra and panty matches, a regular norm of the Ruthless Aggression era, were quietly phased out. The company even launched a WWE Kids magazine in 2008 to court younger fans. And while all of these moves hinted that WWE was preparing for a major change in direction, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to document this transition and talk about why the WWE went family-friendly in 2008. On July 22nd, 2008, WWE announced that all of its programming would now carry a TV PG rating, thus ending the TV 14 era of more adult-oriented content. And I mean, let's be real, WWE was absolutely pushing the lines of TV 14. I mean, remember when Edge and Lita were going to bang on Raw? Well, this transition was swift. Longtime viewers noted that what had been acceptable on WWE television one month was suddenly off limits the next. In fact, former WWE head writer Brian Gertz recalled a creative whiplash, with him saying the following.
It's very jarring because we didn't do a gradual, recession. It just went like, at 100 to 0 overnight, seemingly. And anything that even seemed salacious or whatever was, PG, can't do that. But what that did, and I thought he was crazy, Vince, at the time, PG coinciding with the guest host era and all that thing. And, there'd be a lot of, detractors of that era, but it really planted the roots and the groundwork towards WWE gaining respectability again with, the advertisers and general Hollywood in general, because it made it safe, quote unquote, for moms and dads to watch with their kids.
Moving to PG meant sweeping content changes across WWE shows. So for example, in-ring violence was noticeably muted, especially chair shots to the head, and bouts with excessive blood. Profanity and crude humor were scaled way back, and one positive is that overt sexuality was pretty much banished from the product entirely. Trust me, I've been watching a lot of Ruthless Aggression era WWE, and it was rough, guys. The girls were treated rough back in the day. Even small details were sanitized. For example, John Cena's finishing move, long known as the FU, was updated to be called the Attitude Adjustment to fit a more friendlier tone, I guess. Likewise, WWE renamed its One Night Stand pay-per-view to be Extreme Rules, scrubbing out any sexual reference from the title. These changes were more than cosmetic. They signaled a new philosophy that WWE was now family-friendly entertainment. WWE's then CEO, Linda McMahon, described the approach as cradle-to-the-grave marketing, with their intentions being to hook fans as children and retain their loyalty for life. In Linda's words, the company saw value in attracting younger viewers early on, thereby cultivating fans and customers who might stick with WWE for decades. It's a very smart business move, but appealing to kids and parents was only part of the strategy. Internally, WWE officials believed that a PG product would broaden their audience and bring back lapsed viewers who had been turned off by the harshness of the Attitude Era. WWE chairman Vince McMahon defended the move as a pure business decision, noting that a family-centric show could reach a larger audience than a niche adults-only program, with him saying the following. If you're reaching a larger audience, why would we go back trying to reach a smaller audience? Business-wise, it doesn't make any sense. I see what Vince is saying here, but it pretty much is just saying that he wants more money. He maintained that every change WWE makes, including going PG, is for the right business reasons. In other words, toning down content wasn't about politics or apologies. It was about growing the WWE brand to as many people as possible. For the longest time, most of WWE's audience had been young men, but it was clear that they wanted to appeal to families and just everybody in general. Longtime WWE executive Bruce Pritchard, a close advisor to McMahon, has shed light on the thinking from a marketing perspective. Pritchard said that by the mid-2000s, WWE noticed fewer families attending live events. The crowds were mostly the teens and young adult males supported during the Attitude Era and the start of the Ruthless Aggression era. Everything is good, but I think business is a lot better when everybody is coming out and it's a whole family outing, Pritchard explained. The company realized that it was missing that younger demo of kids, just below their teenage audience. In response, WWE consciously pivoted to create a show parents and children could enjoy together, rather than a raunchy product that only a group of college-age buddies or high schoolers might watch. The hope was that making WWE safe for kids would encourage mom, dad, and the kids to fill the seats. A multi-generational audience, more in line with WWE's earlier eras. As Pritchard put it, they wanted to recapture the feeling of wrestling as a whole family experience, much like it was during the golden era with Hulk Hogan. Another big factor was merchandise and new revenue streams. Going PG also opened up lucrative merchandising opportunities, especially with children. Pritchard gave the example of WWE's iconic stars, with him saying the following: "We sold a lot of Steve Austin t-shirts, but we wanted to sell more toys and broaden that demographic. During the edgier years, WWE made a mint selling apparel and edgy merchandise to its teenage and adult fans. I mean, who could forget about the iconic Austin 316 shirts? But a tamer, kid-friendly project could fuel sales of action figures, games, and toys in a way that the Attitude Era never did." Pritchard noted how in earlier eras, Hulk Hogan's cartoonish heroics moved mountains of merchandise to kids, from action figures to lunchboxes, whereas a more adult-oriented product had limits on the toy shelf. So the push to PG was, at least in part, a push to win back the toy market and partner with major children's brands. Indeed, soon after going PG, WWE struck a landmark deal with Mattel to produce WWE action figures starting in 2010. That partnership might never have happened if WWE programming was still filled with chair shots, blood, and those wild bra and panties matches. Like, dude, Vince McMahon was wildin' in the early 2000s. It's fucking crazy some of the shit that guy got away with on television. Anyways, back to the point. Another big reason for this change was sponsors. In the Attitude Era, many mainstream companies shied away from advertising with WWE due to the violent and sexual content. By 2008, WWE saw a chance to change that. According to then WWE Chief Marketing Officer Michelle Wilson, WWE realized it needed to get back to its roots, the multi-generational aspect of the brand, in order to bring on corporate partners and even charities that had been out of reach. By switching to family-friendly programming, WWE suddenly became safe for blue-chip brands that would have never touched the old product. The results were immediate and dramatic. Household name sponsors like Mattel, Nestle, General Mills, Frito-Lay, and Kraft signed on for the first time. John Cena, the squeaky clean superhero babyface of the PG WWE era, wound up on 8 million boxes of Post's Fruity Pebbles cereal after an in-ring joke about his colorful t-shirts turned into a real marketing campaign. McMahon's bet that advertisers would come running proved to be correct. WWE reported that sponsorship revenue jumped from $7.4 million in 2008 to over $20 million annually a few years later. In fact, by 2013, the company said its sponsor and partnership revenue had nearly tripled since the move to PG, thanks to the deals we already mentioned, like the one with Mattel and with Fruity Pebbles. But the true question is, did it work? And how did lifelong WWE fans, people that have been watching the product for the past 5 years, how did they feel about this change? Well, not everybody greeted the PG era with open arms. A segment of WWE's hardcore fan base, people like me, were dismayed by the new tame WWE. By 2009 and 2010, older fans felt alienated by the kid-oriented direction. Some of these fans flocked to rival promotions like TNA or Ring of Honor, while others simply tuned out, complaining that WWE had become too cartoonish. The criticism was loud enough that WWE performers themselves took notice. For example, superstar Dave Bautista later admitted that he was unhappy with the PG rating, feeling it made the product less cool, and also contributed to his 2010 departure.
And one of the reasons why he left was because the PG-13 or PG direction.
I just felt like they went against everything that our business was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really felt like they were just killing our business, man. They killing the art form of it, which was what I loved about it. Well, you know, I mean, just things like that. They were going to start doing things that just didn't make sense. Like, you know, that was just something that we did, man. That was something we kind of bled. You know, this was one of those things
in certain situations,
very, especially like this, when there's a title involved and there's a cage match involved,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes things, it makes harder for people to really get sucked into it too. They were taking our tools away. They were taking our art form away.
There was also grumbling among WWE's creative team. Brian Gertz, a head writer on Raw during the transition, said that as a writer, I hated when we switched to the PG era, and that he thought it was stifling, noting that Vince McMahon enforced PG so strictly at first that writers jokingly wondered if they should add Muppet characters to fill time. Gertz recalled McMahon even banning the word damn on air, despite damn being acceptable under a PG television rating. This overcorrection led to scripts that some in WWE felt were aimed at kindergarteners rather than all ages. And it wasn't just them, fans did not like it and were very vocal about their criticisms. But how did it do for business? Did WWE achieve what they set out to accomplish? Well, the short answer is yeah. Financially, WWE thrived during the PG era. Despite a global recession hitting around 2008, WWE's revenue streams from TV rights, merchandise, and sponsorships remained robust and consistently grew in the following years. The most striking growth came from sponsorship and advertising deals, as we talked about earlier. If you think it's bad now, all of the sponsor logos in the ring, and even on the weapons sometimes, well, that's just because we're conditioned to it. This has been happening for a while, it's just gotten more aggressive recently. For example, remember when WWE collaborated with 7-Eleven? That shit was all over the place in the 2010s. And there were plenty of other sponsors, Kmart, Toys R Us, and Pepsi to name a few, which all jumped on board with WWE in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Once the content was considered brand safe, this influx of sponsorship dollars was a direct validation of WWE's PG strategy. I mean, it brought in big money, as Hall of Fame commentator Jim Ross frankly put it. Good old JR, who lived through the transition as a WWE executive and broadcaster, was initially one of PG's defenders. In a 2010 blog, Ross said that being PG would attract many more sponsors with big money to spend, compared to a slice and dice show full of blood. He also noted a simple benefit. Parents could now comfortably watch WWE with their kids without being offended or having to explain inappropriate content. I mean, there'd be no more moms getting mad when radio stations call them about John Cena tickets. Remember this clip right here?
$9.99.
I'm sorry, no, there is not any chance in hell that we're ever going to have wrestling in this house again. But thank you, but no. Have a good day.
Do you hear how upset that mother is? And that's exactly what WWE wanted to avoid. They wanted your mom to like the product. By positioning itself as wholesome entertainment, WWE secured partnerships that took it further into mainstream culture. For example, WWE superstars appearing on Kids' Choice Award shows, doing Make-A-Wish charity work prominently, and collaborating with random celebrities like Fred. One famous quote from this time that's really funny, it came from Brian Gertz again, where he said that the mid-2000s product felt like a 50-year-old guy wearing Ed Hardy at the club trying to seem cool and relevant. And I mean, I don't agree, but I also agree. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree because I love that shit, but he's not wrong. But yeah, as much as we can complain about this era of wrestling, guys, this was a big business move in marketing strategy. It was very calculated, and it sadly worked really well. Throughout the early 2000s up until the 2010s, there were kids that were into the product. But dude, when you look at the crowd after 2010, you look at like a 2011, 2012, 2013 show, and there are way more families and kids there. Even from my personal experience, I remember that as a kid, I kind of got out of wrestling in like 2009, but by 2011, I was back into it again because I seen it everywhere, and even other kids that didn't like wrestling before or weren't allowed to watch it were suddenly allowed to watch it and were massive WWE fans. The product was just more accessible in 2011, but to me, that doesn't mean that it was better. Like I said, this was a business move and it was done to make money. So to answer, I didn't clickbait you, to answer the title of this video, the reason that WWE went PG was 100% for money. And this is the same reason why this issue has continued to progress. It's the same reason why we see sponsorship logos in the ring now and everywhere. There's even sponsorship logos on the weapons now. It's continued to get worse and worse. We're already in a new era right now where WWE has doubled down even more on the advertising and sponsorships. And I'm gonna be real, it'll probably get worse from here, as it makes it that the company doesn't have to depend on me or you liking the content. Even if we don't watch 1 week, they're still making so much money from advertisers and from sponsors. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna shut up now, guys. I was a little sick, so sorry if my voice was off with this video, but I'm a new channel, by the way. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I hate when YouTubers like beg for subscribers, but guys, like, I'm really trying here and I'm putting so much time into my content. I'm not using any AI. So if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. I've got plenty more videos like this coming. But yeah, my name's Corey and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.